Okie dokie. So we're working on Unit 3, Lesson 2, or Lesson 3-2, Triangle Sum Theorem and Exterior Angle Theorem. So it's two theorems today. Okay, we'll apply both of the theorems listed. All right, so let's go ahead and take a do now. Take about, say, 4 minutes. Push pause. And go ahead and take care of this. Okay, so on the first one, after you've tried this, we're using a distance, so that's why the distance formula is written down here for you. Okay, so once I've plugged in here, to the distance formula, I get 7.2, or about 7.2, runs around to the nearest tenth. The number 2, we're asked to classify each triangle by its angles and sides. So the first one would be a right isosceles, and the second would be an equiangular equilateral. So both all the angles and all the sides are equal on this one here. All right, let's move on. Okay, so we're dealing with two theorems today. Let's take the first, the triangle sum theorem. The triangle sum theorem basically states that three angles of any triangle will always add up to 180 degrees. Okay, so if I take this angle, measure 1 here, measure 2 and 3, it must equal 180, and that's what this theorem looks like when written notationally or mathematically. Okay, we're asked here to solve for x and find the measure of each angle in the triangles to the left and the right. So this one and this one. Then classify them both by sides and angles. So let's go ahead and take this first one here. So I'm told that angle x plus 117 plus 38 must equal 180. When I do a little simplification, I get x plus, I would merely subtract 155 from both sides, and I should get x equals 25 degrees. Let's go ahead and take the second one. A little more challenging, but same principle. We have x plus 2x plus 4, I'm just adding all the angles, plus 2x minus 9, and this all equals 180. So equals 180. Okay, so kind of clean up there. Once I combine all my like terms, so I can add the x's plus 2x plus 2x. So total number of x's I have here are going to be 5 x's. Let's go ahead and take I'll do them in a different shape just to kind of point them out here. It's plus 4 minus 9. Okay, so I will get 5x minus 5 equals 180. Let's go ahead and solve for x. So I'm going to add 5 to both sides. Okay, so the exterior angle theorem, as opposed to the triangle sum theorem, okay, says there's an easier way to solve the problem using the exterior angle theorem. This theorem states that the measure of an exterior angle, let's say x in this case, is equal to the sum of the measures of the two remote exterior angles. This angle here is not remote. Why is not remote? Right? If you think about remote control to your TV, you are basically controlling something far away from you that you don't necessarily can touch, like a TV. All right? So remote means far away or away from the valley that we're talking about. So the remote angles are going to be this one and this one. So I'm told that x, okay, the remote interior angles are the two angles of the triangle that are not adjacent to the exterior angle. Let's revisit this problem above. Well, in the last slide. Okay, so what angle is the exterior angle? Let's shade that in blue. So again, I already circled that here in blue. I'm just going to circle it instead of shading. What angle is adjacent to the exterior angle? Well, the adjacent angle would be y. Okay, so that is right next to it. Adjacent means right next to, or touching or next to. What angles are not adjacent? Okay, shade them in green. That's going to be these remote angles. Okay, these are your remote angles. So these are my remote angles. Okay, now find x using the exterior angle theorem. So I'm told again that x is equal to the sum of the two remote angles. So when I add 49 plus 67, I should get 116 degrees. Okay, remember, x is equal to the sum of the two remote angles. Okay, now knowing x is 116, I could also easily solve for y, knowing, of course, that together 180 minus 16 would give me the value for y. Okay, so let's go into a little bit of guided practice here. Find x and check the reasonableness for your answer. So we must check after once we found it, okay? I'm telling you right now that's a 90-degree angle. So I have 90 plus 5x minus 2 plus 3x plus 4 equals 180. Let's go ahead and combine our like terms. So we'll add 90 minus 2, that's a number by itself, and plus 4. These are just the constants, and I'll put those at the end. So 90 minus 2 plus 4, which should be 92, positive. Let's go ahead and add up the x terms, which in this case is 5x plus 3x, and that would give me 8x. And we know this is all equal to 180. So I've basically cleaned it up, or another word is simplified, right? So let's go ahead and subtract 92 from both sides. So we can solve for x. I'm left with 8x equals 88. Let's go ahead and divide both sides by 8. X equals 11. Okay, so we have found that this is the case. So this is 90 degrees here. If I plug in x here, so 3 times 11 plus 4, this would give me 37 degrees here. I'm going to do the same thing over here. 5 times 11, 55, minus 2 is 53 degrees. So when I add 53 plus 37 plus 90, so I'm adding 53 plus 37 plus 90, they equal 180 degrees. And so we did good work. We're right at exactly 180 degrees, not more, not less, exactly, and we are done with this problem. Let's go ahead and try your turn. You go ahead and try the next one out. Give yourself a few minutes, and then come off pause. So setting this up the same way, equal to 180. Okay, so I have added all the terms, I have simplified, and now I'm ready to solve for x. So I'll minus 4 to both sides. I'm left with 11x equals 176. I'll go ahead and divide 11 on both sides. I'm left with x equals 16. Plugging in values again, let's go ahead and plug it in, substitute our values into all the into the angles above. So x plus here, it would be 16 plus 10, that would be 26 degrees here. Here, it would be 16 plus 2, that would be 18 degrees here. And here, it would be 9 times 16 minus 8, and that would give me 136 degrees. When I add all of these values up, I get 180 degrees again. So again, we checked our work for reasonableness, and it follows suit. Let's move on. Okay, sorry about that. I didn't realize I did not push pause, so it kind of went silent for a little bit there. Let's go ahead and combine these like terms once I set up the problem. I would get 17x plus 19, right, because I'm adding just the constants by themselves, like terms, equals 180. You know, I'm terribly sorry. I realize I set this up wrong. Let's go ahead and start over on this one here. I didn't realize that we have actually an exterior angle as opposed to 3 interiors. So remember, these are my remote angles to this one right here. Now, that means that 8x plus 15 is equal to 4x plus 5x plus 4. Let's go ahead and solve for x. Okay, so now I would just, after simplifying a little bit here, I'm going to subtract 8x from both sides. So I'm left with just 1x over here. At the same time, I'm going to go ahead and subtract 4 from both sides. Okay, so that goes away, and I'm left with 11 is equal to 1x, or x equals 11. Okay, let's move on. Okay, so again, we have an exterior angle. Let me just move this up a little bit here. We have an exterior angle of 5x plus 17. We have two remote angles, 6x minus 29 and 3x minus 34. We'll go ahead and set the two remote angles equal to the exterior angle. So I would get 6x minus 29 plus 3x minus 34 equals 5x plus 7. Once I simplify a little bit, okay, so I've simplified a little bit here, I'm going to go ahead and add 63 to both sides. And I'm going to go ahead and subtract 5x from both sides. I'm left with 4x equals 70. Let's go ahead and divide both sides by 4. Divide both sides by 4. X equals, looks like 17.5. Okay? Alright, let's move on. Okay, so let's go ahead and work on this. Apply the triangle sum theorem is the first theorem we talked about. We know that we have all interior angles here, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to add all three angles as they are written right now. 80 plus x plus 47 plus x plus 57. And I'm going to set all of this equal to 180. Simplifying a little bit. I'm going to go ahead and subtract 184 from both sides. I'm left with 2x equals negative 4. Let's divide both sides by 2. And x equals negative 2. Okay? And it is okay for x to equal negative 2. It is not okay for an entire angle to equal negative 2. Remember, x is not the angle. X is just part of the expression that is defining the angle. Okay, let's move on. Okay, go ahead and push pause now and try this one on your own. And you should have gotten to x equals negative 5. Okay, go and pause if you need to see the method used. Okay, so let's go ahead. I'm going to write the little notes here. Go ahead and try this on your own. Okay, so I'll just put U. Number 3 you'll try on your own. Number 4 as well. 5 through 10. You may do your work using paper and pencil like in your notebook, but make sure to record your answer on this page. So here, again, I would net x equals whatever your answer were, and you'll do that for here, 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 and here. Okay, let's go to the next page for directions or instructions. Actually, we'll do this one together. We'll work up the triangle sum theorem questions. Exterior angle theorem questions, number 11 and 12, I believe, together, and then you'll try the other ones on your own. So remember, in the angle, this here is my exterior angle. these here are my remote angles. I know that my two remote angles are equal to my exterior angle. Okay, we're asked to find measure BTU. So that's from here, here. So I want to know what this angle is equal to. Okay, so let's go ahead and set this up. I would get 50 plus 6x equals 12x minus 10. And we'll subtract 6x from both sides. And I'm going to add 10 to both sides. 2 for 1, kind of. We're going to get 60 is equal to 6x. Divide both sides by 6. To isolate x equals 10. Now, this is not the answer. We're asked to find the measure of BTU. So, here, I would get 12x. Well, instead of x, I know what x is. X equals 10. So 12 times 10 minus 10. Okay, and the angle, so the measure of BTU is going to be equal to 120 minus 10, which give me 110 degrees. Okay? All right. Move on to the next one. Same thing. Again, we're asked to use the exterior angle theorem to find the measure of JUT. Okay, my exterior angle is here. My two remote angles are going to be, I'll do them in a different color, here and here. This is this right here. Okay, so let's go ahead and set this up. I would get 28x minus 2 is equal to 4x plus 4 plus 90 degrees. I know that's 90 because of this little red corner there, right? So let's go ahead and clean this up a bit. So when simplifying a bit, I'll get 28x minus 2 equals 4x plus 94. I'm going to go ahead and subtract 4x from both sides. And I'm going to add 2 to both sides while I'm at it. That goes away, and this goes away. I'm left with 24x equals 96. It's going to divide both sides by 24. And I would get x equals, well, x equals 4. Now to get the measure of JUT, which is J to U to T, is that angle here, I would merely substitute in x equals 4 into the expression given for that angle. So we get 28. Now we'll go ahead and subtract this part right here. I'm going to say 28 times 4 minus 2. Okay, this is going to give me the measure of angle JUT, which we see to be 110 degrees. Okay. These problems here, you may again do your work using paper and pencil, but make sure to record your answer on this page. Again, x equals, or excuse me, find the measure of angle PEF, right? That would go here. Remember, you're not solving, you are solving for x, but it's not the final answer. So you work on these. And lastly, 17 and 18. Again, this is all in your pair deck. And you're going to do your work on paper, but I need the answer here. So the measure of angle A and the measure of angle D. That can just go in a box somewhere like that. Make sure your work is done in your notebooks if I ask to look at it. Alrighty. Have a great day, guys. Thank you all. I am terribly sorry, actually. We are not done. There's one last slide here. Exit ticket. Make sure you do this in your pair deck, okay? It's a pair deck, as well as the other ones that you're required to do. I'll be checking this as well. Now, have a great day, and thank you very much.